Okay, so we have two brackets under here. Both of these come with the rotisserie. This one normally is open. This normally is open. And so what I did was I found a little piece of metal and I basically just screwed it into the top of this bracket because I wanted to hold it all in place. So that said, once this is done, you can see this will go through like this. Nope, wrong way. Wrong way? No, that's the right way. Okay, see that? That slides back and forth, and then this thing tightens it when you're done. Okay, the rotisserie. All right, it's gonna go on this bracket, right down. Okay, and then this fits in there. So as this turns, you can see, I need to put the chain on there before I go any further. So I'm gonna get the chain, bike chain. And I'm gonna slide this over, and I'm gonna slide the chain on, and then I'm going to put that back in, and I like to move that right about there, and I'm gonna tighten that up so it doesn't move around on me. Okay, so that's putting the rotisserie on there. You know how I did that. And as that turns, it's going to turn the top pieces. Okay, so let's move to the top. Okay, so that's the top of the unit. I'm going to back up a little bit here, come back. I'm going to make this as detailed as possible. You can see down there is the sprocket. One thing to point out after I did the holes, when I did these holes, I did this one a little bit higher because I knew the chain was going to come up over the top of them, and I didn't want it to be just straight across. I wanted the chain to kind of come up over the top so they all turned evenly without the chain slipping. So this one here is literally maybe like 1/4 of an inch taller than these other ones. Okay. Okay. When I originally made this, and I'm going to have to show you how I made these really cool little gear things, because remember the sprockets have the big holes in them. This is a 3/4 inch connector to 3/4 inch pipe. You'll notice there's a bit of a gap in here. Some of you might want to shorten this piece of wood to bring these closer together, so maybe this fits snugger. That did cause a little bit of a problem. I fixed it, and I'll show you how I did that. I'm just going to kind of, so what I did was I made these little washers, just so this was go through, perfectly without any play in it. And so I do that. I'm just going to put one together here for you. So that goes on like that. Okay. Then your gear goes in like that. Kind of just, okay. And then I'm gonna grab another one, and I'm gonna kind of just slide this down in there, like that. Hopefully you all can see this. And then I'm gonna come in from this side, got to get through the washer and into the gear, and then I'm gonna grab both of these, get it nice and tight. Then there's hardly any play because those two cardboard washers, and it also makes it move pretty slick too. So let's take this apart. I think real quick what I'm going to do is, well, let's see. Let's go ahead and put this together, and I'll show you how to do some of these other little additions as we go forward. It gets a little tricky because it's easy to forget things like, you know, the chain has to go on first, etc. It looks like I kind of bound this one up a little bit here. Let's see. The chain was actually one whole long chain when I got it, so I had to shorten it. If a lot of people have questions on how to shorten chains, let me know. And okay, there it is. So as you put each one of those spindles in there, the turners, you're obviously going to have to go through the chain as well. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's put this here, and let's do a washer. Let's just set the chain right. Well, no, let's set it on. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and hold this up because there. And then we'll just drop that there. That's gonna go out like that. And then in there, very important to make sure the chain is on there. Okay. Then we can move the chain up on that guy. That gives us enough room to put that washer in there. And another one like that. Ta-da! Okay, so let's squeeze this together. And then, so when we're all done, this chain is going to sit on top of this one. Right? Like that. Okay, then it's going to go on top of this one, and it's going to go on top of that one. I'm going to put these back together. Just remember, put it through, put your chain on. Obviously, if you put these spindles on without doing the chain first, it's not going to come out right. So I'm going to stop this video, I'm going to put them on, and then we'll start back up. Okay, so here it is. It's all back together. You saw how I did these. I made sure the chain was on. These do not move hardly at all because of those cool little cardboard washers. As you can see, as I turn one of these, the whole thing turns down to the bottom sprocket. It won't, the whole thing isn't going to turn in a circle because the rotisserie is not on, but come down here, and the chain's on there. When I first put the chain on the top ones, I let this chain just dangle. I don't put it on the sprocket, just let it dangle, see where it lines up. Don't move the chain to the sprocket, move this sprocket to the chain. So if the chain's down here, and this chain, or the sprocket is down here, and this is just dangling, you want to push that over too, otherwise the chain's going to come off. You want all this to be, I hope that makes sense, completely directly, see that, lined up. Okay, you guys, you know what, I know that I'm missing stuff. Again, this isn't scripted, just a good idea. These came as an afterthought. They are just only 12 inches out and about what was that, 19.5 inches. This is all I did on this one, is I simply came underneath here and I screwed it up into the wood there, and I found this little bracket laying around, and I put that bracket on there. So this one's a little flimsy. This one over here, I literally put a piece of wood here, and then I screwed that down to the top of it. So again, this is a work in progress. It works, it's really cool. I expect to keep building on it and coming out with something better. But what do you think? Pretty slick. If you have questions on how to adjust the chain or take parts out of the chain and redo it, happy to do another video on that. I am going to show you, and I'm going to show you, well, I think I'll show you right now, if I have any more of these, how I put one of these on those. Okay, so let's run with this, and I will continue to add to it. I'll try to post another one of how I made that gear real quick, because I know a lot of you are going to want to put this together right away and get moving. So again, thanks for your patience, and just kind of threw this together as a lot of people were waiting. If you have questions, let me know. Bye. Okay guys, so I was out of these. I literally had to go get one just for you so you can see how I make these gears. So if you want to do me a solid, hit me back with a subscribe or a like and a view, because I'm doing this just for you. Aha. Okay, so here's a little piece of PVC, right, that connects the two. So I'm thinking, how do I get this on here? It doesn't go on there, and it's so close. So close. So do I drill or sand this down? Do I groove edges out of here to fit these little guys here? So this is what I came up with, okay? I have a vise, which makes this a little handier. You'll notice on this, there's a line right in the center of it. I'm gonna open my vise because it makes it easier to hold. You don't have to. Originally I made these without a vise. Get it kind of tight. You know what? Let's not use the vise, because I didn't use the vise and you all don't have vices. Let's just set it right there. Okay? And let me readjust. This is what we're gonna do. It's pretty slick. Okay, this gear was very dirty. I cleaned it. You can see all the gears right here that I got for free. Yucky, but they clean up pretty nice. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to heat it up hot enough to where I'm going to set this down, and as I set it down, it's literally going to melt and go all the way over the top of this. And when it cools off, it is going to be on there so good and so tight that you're not going to have to worry about it. So I have a torch. Honestly, these are really cheap because you just buy this piece here and then you just use a propane bottle. You can probably hold this like this over a stove or a fire or blade on your stove. I like the torch, works really well. I don't have a professional studio here, so this might be a little bit awkward, but let's do this. I'm gonna set this down and I'm gonna start this up. Okay. All right, that's starting. I'm gonna set it down. I'm gonna grab my metal and I'm gonna heat it up. Nice and hot, not too crazy, but I'm heating it pretty good. Doesn't need to be red hot or white hot, but enough to melt that plastic. And I'm gonna guess that's enough to melt plastic. I'm gonna set my torch down, turn it off. Okay, you watching? Watch this. I am just gonna hold this and I'm gonna slide that on there. Look at that. Push, 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 right till I get down to the very middle where that line is. I wanna make sure that this is nice and straight. Nice and straight. See that? Right down to that line. That's not straight. How's that look? That's pretty straight. Look at that. It's not down to the line. I'm gonna go a little bit farther, oops, sorry. A little farther down. Okay. You want this to be straight, guys and gals, otherwise your chain's gonna slip off, but look. See that? Isn't that slick? And when that dries or cools down, that is not coming off. I went back, I wanted it to look nice, so I took all these little chunks of plastic off. What do you think? Anybody want one? So again, this is just a 3/4 inch extender, and that's one of those